The discovery in the dark. Deep space encounter. The monitoring station floated silently at the edge of known space. It was a small outpost, built by the Galactic Federation to watch for dangers that might drift in from the unexplored regions beyond. Inside, Commander Zelak sat at his console, reviewing the endless stream of data that poured in from the sensor arrays. He was a Draxian, tall and thin with silver skin that reflected the dim lights of the station. His shift had been quiet for weeks. Nothing ever happened out here. That was exactly what the Federation wanted. Beside him, Junior Officer Mira worked at her station. She was young for a sensor technician, barely 3 cycles into her service. Her species, the Venlari, had excellent eyesight and quick reflexes, which made them perfect for monitoring work. But even Mira found the job boring most days. She watched screens full of empty space, cataloging asteroids and dust clouds that posed no threat to anyone. Today seemed like every other day until her console beeped with an unusual pattern. Mira leaned forward, her large eyes widening as she studied the readings. "Commander, I have something strange on the long-range sensors. It is big. Very big." Zelak looked up from his report. "Define big," he said without much interest. Debris fields could register as large objects, and young officers often got excited about nothing. Mira adjusted her controls, pulling up more detailed information. "Bigger than a capital ship, sir. Maybe 3 times the size of our largest cruiser. It is drifting at the edge of scan range, about 6 light hours from our position." Now Zelak was interested. He stood and walked over to her station, his long legs carrying him across the small room in just a few strides. "Show me." Mira brought the image up on the main display. The object appeared as a massive shape against the darkness of space. It had a distinct structure, clearly artificial, with a long central body and what looked like weapon emplacements along its sides. The design was unfamiliar. Nothing in the Federation database matched its configuration. The unknown vessel. Zelak felt a chill run through his body. In his 20 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. Run a full diagnostic on the sensors. Make sure this is real and not a glitch. Mira worked quickly, her fingers dancing across the controls. "Sensors are functioning normally, sir." All 3 arrays confirmed the object. "It is definitely there." Zelak activated the communication system. "This is Outpost 7 to Federation Command. We have detected an unknown vessel of massive size in our sector. Requesting instructions." The reply came within minutes. Commander Voss appeared on the screen. She was a senior officer at Federation Command, a Kethrian with 4 arms and a reputation for staying calm under pressure. "Commander Zelak, confirm the size of this vessel. Your report seems incorrect." "It is correct, Commander. The object is approximately 900 meters long and 200 meters wide. It appears to be a ship of some kind, but the design matches no known species in our records." There was a long pause. Commander Voss's expression changed from skepticism to concern. "Deploy your analysis drones. I want full scans of that vessel. Do not approach it directly, but gather every piece of information you can. We will send a response team, but they are 2 days away from your position." "Understood, Commander." Zelak ended the transmission and turned to Mira. "Launch the drones. Full spectrum analysis. I want to know what that thing is made of, where it came from, and whether it poses any danger." Mira worked with practiced efficiency. 4 small drones launched from the station and accelerated toward the mysterious vessel. Each drone carried advanced scanning equipment capable of analyzing materials, detecting energy signatures, and even reading residual data from inactive computer systems. Scanning the beast. The drones reached the vessel after 2 hours of flight. As they began their scans, data started flowing back to the station. Zelak and Mira watched as the information filled their screens. The first thing they noticed was the composition of the hull. "It is made from an alloy we have never seen before," Mira said, studying the readings. "Multiple layers of dense metal with spacing between them. This is military-grade armor. Very advanced military-grade armor." Zelak nodded slowly. "Whatever built this expected to fight. What about propulsion?" "The scans show fusion drives, extremely powerful ones. This ship could have traveled between star systems, though right now everything is offline. No energy signatures at all. The vessel is completely dark." Zelak felt slightly relieved. A dead ship was far less dangerous than an active one. "Continue the scans. I want to know what is inside." The drones moved closer, their scanners penetrating through the thick hull. The interior layout began to appear on the screens. Zelak and Mira stared in amazement at what they saw. The ship contained hundreds of rooms and corridors. There were massive cargo bays, engineering sections, and what looked like crew quarters. But the scale was wrong. Everything was built for creatures much larger than most Federation species. "Look at the door sizes," Mira said. "Those are meant for beings at least 2 meters tall. And the corridors are wide enough for several of them to walk side by side. What species needs that much space?" Zelak was wondering the same thing. The Federation included thousands of different species, but most were smaller than 2 meters. Only a few warrior races grew that large, and none of them built ships like this. "Keep scanning. Let us see what else is there." The drones went deeper. They found engineering sections filled with sophisticated machinery, medical bays with equipment that looked both advanced and brutal, and training rooms with scoring systems still visible on the walls. Then they found the weapons. Arsenal of war. Mira gasped when the weapon systems appeared on her screen. "Commander, this entire ship is armed. I am counting over 300 individual weapon ports. Missile tubes, energy cannons, projectile weapons, and some systems I cannot even identify." Zelak felt the chill return. This was not a cargo hauler or a colony ship. This was a warship. A pure warship designed for one purpose only. "Who builds something like this?" Mira asked quietly. The Federation had banned pure warships centuries ago. All modern vessels carried weapons for defense, but they also had cargo space, scientific equipment, and diplomatic facilities. They were multipurpose by design. This ship had none of that. It was built only to fight. "I do not know," Zelak replied. "But we need to find out. Tell the drones to scan for any identification marks or computer data." The drones adjusted their scan patterns, searching for information that might identify the builders. After several minutes, they found something. "There is text on the hull," Mira said. "Very faint, but readable." She brought up an image. Letters appeared on the screen, written in a language neither of them recognized. "Can you translate it?" Zelak asked. Mira fed the text into the translation database. It took longer than usual. The database had to search through records of thousands of languages from across the galaxy. Finally, an answer appeared. Language identified. This is from a species called humans. Origin planet, Earth. Location, isolated system in the outer spiral arm. Zelak pulled up the species file. What do we know about them? Not much, sir. The last survey was conducted 400 years ago. They were classified as pre-spaceflight. Primitive technology, barely capable of leaving their own planet. That cannot be right. Look at this ship. This is advanced technology, far beyond what most Federation species possess. How could a primitive species build something like this? Mira had no answer. She continued reading the file. According to the survey report, humans showed high levels of aggression and violence. They had a history of constant warfare among themselves. The survey team recommended limited contact until the species matured. The forbidden cargo. Zelak felt unease growing in his mind. A species known for violence had somehow built a massive warship and sent it into deep space. Why? What were they doing? Tell the drones to scan deeper. I want to see what this ship was carrying. The drones penetrated further into the vessel. They found crew quarters designed for hundreds of individuals. They found storage areas filled with supplies and equipment. And then they found the chambers. Mira made a small sound of surprise. Commander, there are containment pods throughout the ship. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. What kind of pods? Stasis pods, sir. For biological preservation. And according to the scans, they are occupied. Zelak moved closer to the screen. Show me. The image changed to show rows upon rows of cylindrical chambers. Inside each one was a humanoid figure. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. They were suspended in some kind of liquid, completely motionless. How many? Zelak asked. Mira worked her console, counting the pods the drones had detected. Still counting, sir. So far I have found over 2,000. All occupied. All in active stasis. This is a troop ship, Zelak said quietly. These are soldiers. But why would humans send thousands of soldiers into deep space? Where were they going? The drones continued scanning. They found medical facilities equipped for surgery and biological modification. They found training equipment and weapons storage. They found chemical laboratories and research stations. And then they found the sealed sections. Commander, there are heavily reinforced areas in the lower decks. The drones are having difficulty penetrating the shielding. What is in there? I am not sure, sir. Give me a moment. Mira increased the scanner power. Slowly, the image resolved. Inside the sealed sections were more chambers, but these were different. They were smaller, more secure, with individual life support and monitoring systems. And each one contained data storage. The warning. Can you access the data? Zelak asked. Mira tried. The ship's main computers are offline, but there is backup storage in these chambers. The drones are pulling residual data from the buffer systems now. Text appeared on the screen. Mira began to read it aloud, her voice shaking slightly. Project Warden. Classification level, absolute black. Unauthorized access forbidden. Subject conditioning, complete. Standard emotional responses, removed. Fear inhibitors, maximum. Pain tolerance, enhanced beyond normal human limits. Combat capability, 900% above baseline. Psychological profile, unsuitable for civilian interaction. Recommendation, deep space isolation. The room fell silent. Zelak and Mira stared at the screen, trying to understand what they were reading. These are modified soldiers, Zelak said slowly. Humans took their own people and changed them. Made them into weapons. Why would any species do that? Mira pulled up more files. There are references to a war, sir. A terrible war that threatened human survival. They created these soldiers as a last defense. But when the war ended, they did not know what to do with them. So they put them on this ship and sent them away. Forever. Zelak felt sick. The humans had created monsters and then abandoned them in deep space, hoping they would never be found. And now we have found them. Should we stop the scans? Mira asked nervously. Zelak was about to say yes when something happened. The drones had sent one final scan pulse to retrieve more data from the ship's computers. It was a standard procedure, the kind they had done thousands of times before. But this time, something responded. On the screen, a single light appeared deep inside the dead vessel. Then another light. Then 10 more. Then 100. The ship was waking up. Their scan had triggered an automatic defense system. Power was flowing through the massive warship. Systems that had been dormant for decades or perhaps centuries were coming back to life. Mira, shut down the drones. Cut the scan immediately. Myra's hands flew across her console. I am trying, sir. The ship has locked onto our scan beam. It is using it to locate us. On the screen, they watched in horror as more systems activated. Engines powered up. Weapons came online. And most terrifying of all, the stasis pods began to open. One by one, the modified soldiers inside started to move. They were waking up. 3,000 warriors designed to feel no fear and show no mercy. And they had just found someone to fight. Zelak hit the emergency alert. This is Outpost 7 to all Federation forces. We have awakened something dangerous. I am transmitting all scan data now. We need immediate military support. Send everything you have. But even as he spoke, he knew help would not arrive in time. The human warship was already turning toward them, its massive hull rotating in space like a predator focusing on prey. Whatever was about to happen, they would face it alone.